happiness and peace. I feel the wind passing by, the gentle breeze a lullaby, and the rustling of the trees, with the dancing of the breeze. Oh, love is all around us, so let's protect what he gave us. And see the stars in the night, and they're beaming oh so bright, and the moon that guides us all when we take an evening stroll. As we lie in bed tonight, I pray that all will be alright. Soon the birds will start to sing, hope and joyfulness they bring. Oh, love is all around us, so let's protect what he gave us. Da 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 da.
Children cry out, why did you not act, see the facts when there was still time? To end our addiction, fossil fuel addiction, dependence on future existence, inventions. Activate, advocate, organize, stand up and join the resistance. There will be a reckoning. Mother Earth is threatening us. There's no other choice. Hear our children's voice. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Truth is in the science. No more political defiance. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Truth is in the science. No more political defiance. Sound the alarm, cause no harm. Storms and rising seas, drought, famines, floods could bring us to our knees. Warning, warning, sound the alarm, take action for humanity. Stop this insanity, get clarity, carbon neutrality. There will be a reckoning. Mother Earth is threatening us. There's no other choice. Hear our children's voice. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Truth is in the science. No more political defiance. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Fire, fire, Earth's on fire. Truth is in the science. No more political defiance.
Secret is I just smile and say follow me. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Life's too short not to really live. I got a big heart, I
got that smile upon my face, 'cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know. Yeah, I'm going for the ride and find myself, I am alive, and I soar. Still I run towards the wind and let the challenge draw me in, 'cause I want more. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. 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 Oh, wake up heart and wake up mind, and see the world is yours to find. And with every passing day there's more, calling you out to explore. Get up and go. There is joy found in the race, and I feel it in the place where I'm free. And I simply can't deny it, that I feel adventure calling out to me. Yeah, we are all looking for adventure. 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 We are all looking for And I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. Living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be free. Meant to be free.
Isang magandang hapon, Pinoy climate reality leaders, and of course, our environment advocates. I'm Amy Oliveros, na bumabati po sa inyo ng isang happy Klimatotohanan New Year. Ngayong 2020, naku, kitang-kita nyo naman po, bago na po ang ating time slot. You can watch your favorite climate webcast live every Wednesday na po kami. Of course, allow me to welcome you all to our very, very first episode of the year, our 22nd episode, grabe, diba? So this is entitled Unmasking the COVID-19 Plastic Pollution, Why Zero Waste is Essential Towards a Green and Just Recovery. Co-hosting with me today is fellow climate reality leader J.M. Dumdum, coordinator for the Climate Smart Industries and Services Cluster and the Energy Subcluster of the Climate Reality Project Philippines. Hi, JM! Naku, na-miss kita. Say hi to our viewers and just give us an overview of what we're gonna discuss today.
Ayan, isang magandang hapon at gabi mamaya po sa ating lahat na nakatutok sa atin sa Facebook Live. And yes, I did miss you, Amy. I mean, this is my second time co-hosting and the first time was with you actually. And you know, it was very, very fun. We had a very wonderful discussion last year. Sana for this episode, no, ay masustain natin yung ating, you know, the hype or our progress there. So yeah, I mean, this is a call. It is an honor to co-host this episode with Amy this year, and this is the second time. Just to repeat, no, just the second time to co-hosting in Klimatotohanan. Yeah, the Happy New Year din sa ating lahat. And come to think about it, no, bagong taon, dapat may bagong problema. Ngunit meron tayong mga naiwan from last year, no? Yung mga problema sa basura, COVID-19, tsaka yung, ang ating issue about climate change. So, kaya ngayong hapon ay, we gathered waste and health experts to discuss how we can prioritize the health and protection of people while pursuing yung tinatawag nating zero waste, or the comprehensive approach to waste management that prioritizes waste prevention, reuse, composting, and recycling. Napaka-importante ng ating talakayan ngayong hapon at gabi because of a publication na lumabas in 2021 of the Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives na nagsasabi na implementing zero waste strategies can not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions but also provide significantly more and very good quality jobs than your traditional waste disposal-based systems. So may oportunidad for green recovery from this economic downturn that is caused by the pandemic.
Absolutely right, JM. Kaya naman for sure, paniguradong hitik na naman po ang ating usapan ngayon. No? Nakikisama ang panahon, gustong makisama no? Ngayong panahon na ito, ngayong usapin na ito. Okay, pero bago ang lahat, gusto ko po na, of course, paalalahanan ang ating mga viewers. Alam ko, live tayo sa Facebook. Hello po sa aming mga friends sa Facebook. Gusto po namin kayong paalalahanan na, of course, gaya na kasanayan natin last year, we will be giving away certificates of participation. So just comment your name and where you're watching from. And huwag niyo pong kalimutang sagutan ng ating feedback form. Mamaya po ilalagay namin yan sa comment section pagkatapos ng episode na ito. Bukod pa riyan, may bago rin po kaming pakulo to make your Klimatotohanan experience more exciting. So i-announce po namin yan mamaya. So I hope you guys stay tuned in the middle and until the end of the show. Diba, JM? So on that note, tingin ko simulan na natin. Excited na ako, JM eh. Sino bang una sa ating speakers?
Let's get the ball rolling, Ames. And I will be introducing our first guest for today, si Miss Coleen Salamat. Coleen is the, hold on. I'm having just a minor, there you go. So Coleen is a plastic solutions campaigner for the EcoWaste Coalition. She is an environmental advocate with a background on oceans and waste management issues, and she was previously a campaigner for Oceana Philippines and a member for the Youth Advocates for Climate Action Philippines, or YACAP. She is also presently a consultant for the Asian Research Institute for Environmental Law. So Coleen, magandang hapon sa iyo. So dito sa Klimatotohanan, meron tayong tradisyon on how we do things dito sa mga episodes. So when we introduce our guests, we ask them to answer just one question lang muna. And as a way to say hi to our guests, to our audience this evening. And for today, this episode, the question is, ano ba ang zero waste para sa'yo? What does zero waste mean to you?
Yeah, for me, zero waste is both a goal and a plan of action. And I think that's it ultimately, as environmental advocate, kami rin parang may challenges din eh. So, but yeah, ultimately, it's a goal.
So, just to follow up, anong klaseng goal ba ang tinutukoy natin dito?
Parang it's more of a lifestyle goal zero waste. Kasi now, di ba, I don't know, parang yung mga ka-generation ko siguro makaka-relate na per generation that technically buys convenience would rather pay a 50 peso delivery fee than go outside, di ba, even before the pandemic. So, medyo kalaban din natin at the same time yung convenience. So, yeah, for me, zero waste really is a goal. It's a lifestyle goal.
Thank you so much for that, Coleen, diba? That's nice. It's a goal. Tama naman, diba? It's always going to be a goal for us, diba? Especially dun sa mga practitioners. So thank you, Coleen. Excited to hear more from you later on. Syempre, very happy kami that EcoWaste. You're representing EcoWaste Coalition. So maraming salamat. And hello to all the to the viewers. Kung meron pong nanonood from EcoWaste Coalition, hello to you all. So salamat, Coleen. Moving on to our next guest, of course, is Ramon San Pascual. Ramon is the Executive Director of Healthcare Without Harm Asia, a population health and environment policy advocate. Ramon brings with him years of experience working in the civil society organizations, engaged in social development work, and has dedicated many years on policy development, advocacy, and working with policymakers and stakeholders on population health, environment, and sustainable development issues. Ramon served as Executive Director of the Asian Forum of Parliamentarians on Population and Development from 2012 to 2015. He was also the Executive Director of the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development from 2005 to 2012, and until recently as Head Executive Assistant and Division Head of the Legislative Liaison Division of the Philippine Department of Health. Naku, mamaya antabayanan natin si Ramon at mamaya itatanong ko rin sa kanya yung burning question natin, JM, di ba? Kasi excited din ako marinig yan, di ba? JM?
Tamang-tama yan. At while waiting for Ramon to come in, let's introduce our next member of our panel, no? At ito, nakatrabaho ko in previous consultations, so talagang familiar naman nito. Siya ay ang Zero Waste campaigner ng Greenpeace Philippines, si Ms. Marian Ledesma. So prior to working at Greenpeace, Marian worked as the Climate Justice and Liability Campaign Coordinator and the country's Director's Assistant for the same organization. So yung role pala, hindi yung organization talaga. But before Greenpeace, she was a product development supervisor for Negros Women for Tomorrow Foundation, managing post-disaster development projects and designing programs for community development, environmental, and microfinance initiatives. So, mayong hapon, Marian, and then thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Ikaw naman ang ating tatanungin, no? So, tingin mo, ano ba ang zero waste para sa'yo?
Yeah, good afternoon, Amy and JM. Thanks for having me. Yeah, for me, siguro zero waste really is about, well, it's a lot of things, pero for me, it's solutions that involve more than just managing the waste that we currently have and bringing back resources from that waste into circulation. Kasi for me, like zero waste is more than just reactive to pollution. It's also proactive in preventing pollution in the first place. If you look at yung zero waste hierarchy of waste management, for example, yung top 3 na tiers are all tied to upstream solutions or interventions gaya ng rethinking or redesigning systems, reducing single-use or disposable items or certain products and goods, and also reusing or reuse systems. So of course, there's more to zero waste than that kasi meron yung mga composting. But really, for me, those are the 3 tiers that really define what I think of when you say zero waste.
Thank you so much for that, Marian. Super. Sabi ko, intro pa lang, ang dami ko nang naka-capture na insights dito. Thank you so much to Marian. I love that what you said about zero waste as a solution. That's true, di ba? Ang ganda niyan. Mamaya pag-uusapan pa natin. As always, we want to thank Marian, di ba? And of course, Greenpeace Philippines for always being our partners, di ba? So salamat, Marian. Our last speaker, of course, of our panel is, of course, Russell Morales. I'm very happy to introduce Ross as a climate reality leader and a mentor who is currently serving as one of the youth cluster coordinators of the Climate Reality Project Philippines. She's a graduate of the University of the Philippines, Visayas in 2019 with a degree of BA Political Science and Community Development. She's also an alumna of the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative, or YCLE, academic fellow, and at the University of Montana, US, under the Marine and Mike Mansfield Center as part of the Global Environmental Issues and Natural Resource Management for fall of 2019. Welcome to the show, Ross. Naku, excited ako makachika ka today. Salamat, of course, sa pag-uunlak sa amin ngayong hapon. we want to hear your thoughts naman. What does zero waste mean to you? And thank you so much for being here.
Ayan, so bagong lahat, isang taus-puso at makakalikasang hapon po sa ating lahat. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope the year started right for everyone despite the challenging circumstances that we're in. What does zero waste mean to us as a youth cluster, coordinators under the Climate Reality Project Philippines? Well, basically, for us, it's Stop the Tap. So it's a mixture ng government, private sector, as well as individuals contributing to stop the tap. This means creating long-lasting solutions such as circular economy that looks at the whole life cycle of plastics and not merely waste management, which is already addressed in our current legislation or policies such as the RA 9003. So it's kind of a mixture of what the two previous speakers shared this afternoon. Yes, may individual goal siya. Yes, it's proactive waste management, but it does not stop there. It's more complex and intersectional, which needs a whole society approach kind of solution. So yun siguro sa amin.
Thank you so much for that, Ross. Happy to always be here. Happy that you're here and we'll have that conversation later on. So thank you so much to you, Ross. Of course, ayan, nandito na, syempre, isa sa ating, before we proceed, JM, I'd like to, of course, formally introduce again Sir Ramon San Pascual, the Director of Healthcare Without Harm Asia. Similar to our other speakers, Sir Ramon, meron na kaming burning question for you. Hope you can just say hello and hi to the viewers po. And what does zero harm or zero waste mean to you? Sir Mon, I think you're on mute po.
Yan. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Pasensya na po at galing sa isang briefing meeting. I'm with the Healthcare Without Harm Southeast Asia. So let me just respond to the opening question quickly. Zero waste in the context of Green Hospital 1 would mean working with the communities to be able not only to reduce waste, but to better segregate, and particularly address the predominant use of single-use plastic in healthcare setting. So relating with the hospital, being able to address segregation and minimization, and then addressing the single-use plastic in healthcare setting. Those three things, if a hospital can do it, I think it has already contributed a lot in the whole effort, multi-sectoral effort of zero waste.
Thank you so much, Sir Ramon. Mamaya ako excited ako marinig pa po ang thoughts ninyo. Parang marami, very maatikabong magiging usapin natin mamaya, JM. So thank you so much, Sir Ramon. We'll talk with you later on po. So salamat po for being here this afternoon. So before we proceed, mga kapatid, meron lang tayong konting shout out, JM. Alam ko, marami na tayong viewers sa Facebook. Hello to everybody watching us. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday afternoon with us. Hello po kay Trish from Binyan, Laguna. Hi, Trish. To Irene Acetre of Partido State University. Hello. To Guab Pamela, watching from Bicol, Camarines Sur. So na tayo, nationwide na tayo, JM. To Beatrice Mitzi Balingit, watching from Cagayan de Oro. To Jeff Martizano, watching from Caloocan. Hello to Richard Balahay, watching from Butuan City. To Diana May Ignacio, watching from Nueva Ecija. Hello din po kay Shara Pascual from PNU Manila. Hello also to Derek Ostero, watching from CDO. Dami din, in fairness sa atin, dami na nating viewers. Of course, to Carmel Queen Seronay. Tama ba? Seronay, watching from Butuan City. Jessica Lacdao from Rosario, Batangas. Rodel Masilungan, kompleto to, De La Salle University. May address pa po. Hello to Riodel. Juliana Cristal Santos from Muntinlupa. No? Mamaya babasahin pa po natin yan. So maraming salamat for tuning in. Ako, mamaya babatiin pa po namin kayo. So hello lang kayo ng hello, comment lang po kayo ng comment sa ating Facebook page, 'di ba? Sa ating Facebook Live. So I guess tuloy-tuloy na natin yung usapan natin, JM, 'di ba? Kasi tingin ko excited na rin yung ating mga viewers, especially ang ating mga speakers, 'di ba?
Amy. At for our first segment no, sa ating episode on Klimatotohanan for 2022, mag-usap muna tayo tungkol sa ano ba talaga ang zero waste at ano ba yung mga crucial work na ginagawa ng EcoWaste Coalition para maano natin yung mensahe ng zero waste across the country. So, tanong ko muna kay Coleen, no? I hope that you can answer 3 questions. So we have the first one is what is zero waste and why does it matter?
Well, yung celebrate natin ngayon January is the Zero Waste Month. And ngayong January din kasi napasa yung RA 9003. So it was passed in the year 2000. And sa ating presidential proclamation, it says that zero waste is a goal that is ethical, economical, efficient, and visionary to guide people in changing their lifestyles and practices to emulate sustainable natural cycles where all discarded materials are designed to become resources for others to use. So ultimately, yung zero waste, we want nothing no wasted. Sa atin sa NGO sector, parang we're saying that nothing is really thrown away, nothing is burned. Instead, materials really get reused, repurposed, or recycled and biodegraded for those that are compostable materials. So yung zero waste principles, like Marian mentioned earlier, we have principles for that. Like yung unang-una is number 1, to avoid or refuse products and services that's already available. So kung hindi naman natin kailangan, 'di ba? We have to refuse it, or kung may other alternatives na pwede nating gamitin, why don't we use it na existing? So parang kailan lang, 'di ba, nag-December, nag-Christmas, so nag-shopping spree na naman tayong lahat, pero parang karamihan naman sa mga bagay na to, kailangan ba talaga natin? So we have to ask ourselves palagi, do we really need it or do we just want it? And next is yun nga, reuse and recycle, repurpose as much as you can. So we're not just talking about here then yung mga packaging or mga plastics to, of course, we bring our own baonan or reusables, but at the same time, yung mga gamit din natin, yung mga clothes natin, di ba? What if yung mga damit pala natin, pwede pa namang i-repair, tahiin, instead na bumili or ibahin yung style. So as ngayon na nagta-transition tayo from a linear economy, meaning nag-throw away system na isang beses lang gagamitan, 5 minutes lang gagamitan, we're now transitioning to a circular economy. Of course, we're in the middle of climate crisis and we can't afford quick fixes. We have to make lasting solutions as individuals, but of course also later on naman yung sa companies naman na obligations. But yeah, and next is to rot or compost yung mga biodegradable materials. Instead of having them brought to the landfill, we want to avoid that. Kung kaya din sa house natin or sa mga condominiums, madami sa atin ngayon na naka-condo, but yun nga, madami ring waste for that. And so yeah, so ultimately, zero waste is goal and a plan of action.
Wow. So, although medyo loaded, no, but the message is clear na talagang we have to be more responsible, no, sa ating waste to reach what we call zero waste. So, next question then, how or why should and how could communities adopt in the zero waste approach?
Actually, kami sa EcoWaste, we're also working with Healthcare Without Harm, Greenpeace, Mother Earth Foundation, and Gaia, working on a plastic-free Filipinas project. And we already have mga zero waste communities that's actually doing it. And what they did is, technically, they just really fully implemented the RA 9003, or Ecological Solid Waste Management Act. It started from waste segregation at source, and that's together with Mother Earth Foundation that they actually trained din yung mga waste pickers po natin. So they have model zero waste cities in Malabon, Navotas, and San Fernando in Pampanga. It was actually awarded na one of the best cities and really in Asia that has the highest waste diversion rate, which is 80%. So these are existing na, and we just really have to replicate it through following our environmental laws. We really have good environmental laws. It's just that, yun nga, until now, nagkukulang pa rin talaga tayo sa implementation. And we really have to update it din eh. Diba? Of course, yung nakabinbin nating bills on single-use plastic sa Congress until now, wala pa rin move sa Senate. So yun din yung tinututukan at binabantayan ni EcoWaste together with our allies at Break Free from Plastics.
Okay, so ano naman pala, no? It's a multi-coalition approach, which is very, very good. Pero ano, in the side of EcoWaste, no, EcoWaste Coalition, so how are you helping, or yeah, how are you helping communities to go zero waste? Like specific, could you cite specific examples?
So yeah, we trained din yung nagko-conduct din po tayo ng mga waste mga WACs or waste analysis characterization seminars. So really working with local and national governments for that. So madami rin po, and of course with our allies with healthcare and Mother Earth and Greenpeace, we're working closely together.
Okay, well that's great. And yeah, thank you sa mga sagot mo. Now that we've set our definitions and our approaches for zero waste for this episode, may isa pa akong tanong, dahil election season, maraming magbabatuhan ng mga policies or polisiya, ng mga campaign strategies and all. Sa tingin nyo, sa EcoWaste Coalition, how can electoral candidates incorporate yung Ecological Solid Waste Management Act into their campaign strategies and platforms?
Yeah, we actually sent din po sa COMELEC ng parang guidelines or parang suggested guidelines din ng EcoWaste for that. Of course, number one, wag sana tayo maglagay ng streamers sa mga puno, and as much as possible, avoid din yung mga plastics na streamers kasi technically, of course, yung plastic once produced, it has actually produced significant amount of greenhouse gases, and yun yung paulit-ulit din natin at gusto nating ipaintindi sa mga tao that once na yung plastics ay nasa environment, before that pa, may na-extract na siya na sobrang daming greenhouse gases emissions. So, ayun din po, for our electoral agenda rin na we're actually non-partisan, but we hope our candidates consider na, of course, yung waste management natin because we haven't really heard that much on ENVI agenda nila.
Yeah. At dahil dyan, Coleen, thank you for setting up basically the agenda for this episode. Kasi ikaw yung starting starting guest for this round. So Ames, what do you have for us?
Oo nga, JM. Thank you so much. So much insight. So much insight dun pa lang sa start. And thank you so much, Coleen. Tama po, ang ganda ng last question mo, JM. It's about talking about upcoming elections. Alam naman natin, malapit na po ang campaign season, di ba? And sana nakinig po ang ating mga electoral candidates, di ba? Kasi tulungan natin, di ba? Protektahan po natin yung kalikasan. Dapat isa rin yan sa priorities ninyo, di ba? So, in our next segment, JM, alam ko, inaantay mo na rin to, we will dig deeper on how we can advance zero waste strategies amid the challenges brought by the pandemic. Alam ko, ang daming nakaka-relate dito, di ba? In this segment, we will also probe on how zero waste can actually play a role in ensuring a green pandemic recovery for the country. With us in this segment, syempre no less than the Executive Director. We're very honored that Sir Ramon is here of Healthcare Without Harm Asia. Sir Ramon, tayo naman po ang magsikahan dito. I hope you can also shed light po on the following questions. Interested po talaga akong malaman. Tell us more about your work po in Healthcare Without Harm Asia, especially your campaign on medical waste. Sir Ramon, I think you're on mute po.
Myself. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks again for this opportunity. Kasi the pandemic brought forth to the public the whole issue of medical waste. Kasi kung hindi nagka-pandemic, this is something that is not fully understood. Not by the LGUs, not by people walking in the street, not even by the DNR. However, with the pandemic, what we saw is the surge as well of plastic waste, one, and non-plastic waste that is coming from the full COVID response. Ngayon, we got worried at the onset pa lang in at around April, May in 2020. Dahil we already saw the hospitals are fully reliant and being supplied with overwhelming plastic to protect themselves. The mask, the shield, the gloves, the robe, even those worn sa kanilang mga paa, lahat yan ay disposable single-use plastic. And then what happened even, immediately shortage were experienced in the hospital. Hindi sila makakuha ng sufficient na supply ng PPE to protect themselves. And yet, if you can remember, ang unang tinamaan, aside from the public, ay yung mga doktor at mga nurses. Dahil bagong-bago yung COVID. So they thought that what is really needed is the protective gears, and these are all or mostly made of plastic. But the third thing that has happened, since many of our hospitals in the network of Global Green and Healthy Hospital are already doing sustainability, they saw two things, at least. One, they will remain unprotected if the supplies are running short on PPE. They need to protect themselves. And therefore, they need, and then the second problem that they saw, dadami ang plastic, and that they're already aware of plastic pollution that is damaging our ocean, our wildlife, and then coming back to us na nagpo-consume ng mga waste product. So what they did is to begin, we had hospitals in Indonesia and in Iloilo that begin sewing or manufacturing their own reusable, washable PPE. One, so as not to be dependent on the supplies that is running short globally anyway. Secondly, to save money. And third, to save the environment. And that gave us the inspiration to address it head on. To the point that in less than a year after the pandemic, globally, Healthcare Without Harm already produced a series of materials and policy papers on which we call protection without pollution. And then we nagre-reinforce yung mga experiences ng maraming green hospitals. Philippines, Indonesia, with that in Brazil, with that in Europe, with that in the US through this green hospital network. Recently, even before COVID, we were already doing audit of waste in the hospital. Recently, we produced this plastic issues during the global pandemic. This is from the experiences in 5 hospitals being managed by the Department of Health here in the Philippines. What it shows is that there is really the predominant dependence on gloves, for example. Ang gloves lumalabas ang pinakamaraming ginagamit at sinasayang sa mga hospital sa panahon ng COVID. And yet, we are also finding out from the audit in the Philippines and then the experiences in other countries na overuse ito at unnecessary in many cases. Typically, a doctor in a day can use 10 pairs of gloves. And all of these are being thrown away. Kada lipat ng kwarto, kada lipat ng ward, magagamit ng glove. And yet, there are good replacements to it. For example, you wash your hands, the availability of water and soap. O kaya naman, sa atin, yung pag-wash din with alcohol. So, what we begin to realize, 2 years into the pandemic, and now we're getting to 3rd year, is that over-reliance in the name of safety and in the name of protection, both of the public and of our healthcare workers, there is over-reliance on disposables, which is unnecessary if only we can be able to understand how the infection is transmitted, how it is managed, and how as an ordinary citizen can take part in it. Remember, for a while, we were required to wear this face shield. To us, at the beginning, at the onset, we know it's a stupid policy. It's entirely unnecessary. It doesn't serve any purpose. At times, it even counters the whole purpose of protection. Kasi lalo mong kinukulog, malapit sa iyong mukha, yung mga posibleng maka-infect sa iyong ilong at sa iyong mata. And we're happy and somewhat we assisted getting rid of that unnecessary policy. Tayo lang naman basta na nag-adapt nun for a long while in the entire pandemic world. So it also contributed big to plastic pollution brought about by the pandemic. So 3 things there. Hospitals can do better in terms of managing waste in times of COVID by understanding how the whole behavior of infection and the virus takes place. Secondly, the LGU has a big responsibility over it because these are all managed by the local government units. And third, the public should also be made aware of how to reduce disposable plastic, protecting them supposedly in the times of COVID. And I think one action that has happened a few months ago, finally, we got rid of this required wearing of the face shield. Yun muna po.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Mon. No? Thank you for shedding a light kasi yung work ninyo with Healthcare Without Harm. Thank you for sharing that information. Your Facebook page, when I visited it, sobrang dami pong information. So I hope you guys are watching now. You try to go to the Facebook page kasi ang dami nyo pong nilalabas na like you've mentioned about the audit that you did, and that was very helpful, especially for other hospitals to use it as a guide. Diba? Maganda po yung insights from there. And thank you so much for sharing. Alam ko po marami ang nakarelate sa sinabi niyo. Of course, obviously some hospitals, even some of the citizens, ako personally, you often feel that if you use masks, disposables, you feel that it's safer, diba, etc. But thank you so much for saying na not all the time naman. Syempre may mga options, diba? Environmentally safe options that we can use.
I may perhaps impact in using masks. We propose that we use washable, reusable. Yes. Don't depend so much on the medical mask, so-called, that are disposable. Kasi it's for the purpose of medical facilities. Pero kung ikaw naman ay nasa karaniwang lalabas ka at lahat, magsuot na lang po kayo double or times, meron pa kang triple layer na cloth mask. That afterwards you can wash and then dry it up and then wear it again. And that in that case, you save money and you save in the environment as well.
Yeah, oo. Kasi that was also a struggle for me, Sir Mon, diba? Kasi I'm also a zero waste advocate. And when I started, obviously, diba, when the pandemic started, you wanted to, diba, have access to the surgical mask, the N95s, all of these disposables. But there's options, environmental options, like of course, sabi nyo nga, yung mga, meron pong mga abaka, diba, mga abaka mask or yung mga cloth mask. But would this type of mask be effective also for, let's say, Omicron, the Delta variants? What's your take on that po?
It is, meron lang mga may guidance lang. One, it should be tight, no? Na hindi lulutot sa ilong mo kasi may pagitan pagka sinuot mo gano'n. Secondly, make it at least double layer. And then third, you still observe the rest of the precautions like social distance. You don't get into too crowded places. But a mask that is cloth, made of cloth, that you can wash afterwards, is just as good as the medical mask. Ang malaki pagkakaiba, kung nakakatipid ka, hindi ka nagpo-pollute sa ating environment.
Yes, obviously, sir, talagang talagang yung issue has been very controversial. No? But thank you for shedding light. As you've mentioned, important pa rin talaga to maintain the protocols. That's always important, like social distancing, etc. So that's still very, very important. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, just a quick question din po. How can we balance? Na-mention nyo na ba about public health, di ba? And this has been an advocacy of Healthcare Without Harm Asia. How can we continue to balance public health with the goal of achieving zero waste and environment stability po? Ano kaya yung tingin ninyong way to to balance this out?
Look into the whole thing, it's a question of both. I mean, if you're protecting people, you should also be aware that you should protect the environment. Remember, the whole COVID thing is a creation of how we destroy the climate. Whether our forest, commercialization of the wildlife, allowing now mingling of those in the wild with us na mga karaniwang mamaya na sa palengke karaniwang nagmumula. So if we keep on destroying our forest, we keep on inviting pandemic to happen over and over again. So in the big picture, that's how protecting our own health means protecting our environment. Now, pagdating naman dito sa bagay ng may pandemic na, paano mong titiyakin na hindi ka mahahawa, you take all the healthy precautions. You live a healthy lifestyle, first and foremost. Okay? And then, as much as possible, you do things that can be done at home by avoiding to get to the crowd. And then if you go out to the crowd, make sure then na you are protected. Pero wag yung single-use disposable na karaniwan na nakikita ko ngayon, lalo na dahil nga Omicron. Kasi hindi naman siya necessary. In the end, if you protect yourself and you protect the environment, you avoid getting into another situation like what we're having now, a prolonged pandemic. So people should see that. Parang hindi ito choice ng ako ang sarili ko o ang kalikasan. You do both. And there are simple steps of doing it.
Thank you for that. No, talaga pong integrated. You've mentioned that it's integrated. Public health is strongly connected with the climate and the environmental health. So maraming salamat for stating that, Sir Ramon. Now, another follow-up question. Ako, sorry. Alam ko medyo interesado ako malaman talaga to, Sir Ramon, no? How can we integrate, knowing all of the amazing things that you guys did po sa organization ninyo, sa community, of course, tingin po ninyo, how can we integrate zero waste, particularly in our pandemic recovery plan? Sabanggit nyo nga po kanina, almost 3 years na tayo, no? So paano po kaya natin may integrate, di ba? Ito po ang ginagawa ninyo, basically in your organization or zero waste in general into our pandemic recovery plans.
Kanina nabanggit ko na sa simula na ang una, ang healthcare facilities, hindi mo siya pwedeng ihiwalay sa community. Okay, this is how some of our hospitals are doing it. It has been observed through our own audit na ang karaniwang plastic na nagko-constitute ng 60 to 70%. Can you imagine, ang hospital pagka in-audit mo, 70% ng kanilang waste volume ay plastic? At ang malaking bagay doon ay packaging ng pagkain. And then when they investigated, kasi mapabrand mo yan It comes from McDonald's, it comes from Jollibee, at yung mga nasa paligid lang ng hospital. So yung particular na hospital na to na naka-locate sa Tondo, they begin dialoguing with the McDonald's store very near the hospital. Kasi obvious sila ang nagdadala o nagiging ilan ng maraming plastic packaging. So when they communicated and begin explaining na sana ay mas konti ang plastic na maging basura, then nag-oblige naman ng ang McDo. They begin packaging the food na paper. At least hindi na siya as pollutant as the plastic na the way it was before. So that is a model by which how a hospital can work with the community. You're also now teaching yung mga bumibisita na hindi naman kinakailangan na plastic din lagi at bahala afterwards. Pwede naman na may konti kang awareness na ang daling mo ay magagamit mo uli sa pamaraan ng pagdadala ng pagkain sa mga dinadalaw mong pasyente. That's how we work with communities, and I think that's very critical. And then secondly, hospital management and the staff have to be aware by themselves doon sa kahalagahan ng waste management. When they saw, at nahiya sila kasi malaking bahagi ng kanilang waste volume nung inaudit, yung mga pinag-inuman nila ng tubig, saka ng mga juice, PET bottles. And then what the management did is to make sure na in the next time around, may sufficient water station, and then niregaluhan nila as part, they spend money, yung hospital, binigyan nilang kanilang mga staff ng mga reusable na tumbler. So what is the message now? Na try to avoid yung PET bottle. Kasi 10% lang yan ang na-recycle eh. The rest of it ends up in the ocean anyway. Would you want to be part of that? Na unti-unti mong nilalatod ang ating kalikasan. So that kind of discussion and awareness among hospital management and staff and taking concrete action did help. So the next time that they audited again, the next year, on their own, they audit na, di na sila nagpatulong sa amin. They realized na bumaba ang volume ng kanilang PET bottle, bumaba ang volume ng food packaging na plastic, nakatipid sila sa disposal ng mga basura, tumaas ang income nila sa reusable, and people are more aware. So yun yung ibig kong sabihin na in any office, in any organization, may paraan para unti-unti mamulat ang mga tao kung bakit importante na i-address ang basura. Kasi kung hindi, tayo din sinasakaldinan natin ang ating mga sarili at nakabawas pa sa gastusin ng hospital. So that are all efforts of zero waste.
Sir Mon, may tanong lang po ako, no? Kasi may mga kaibigan ako na talagang hindi nila na-visualize yung concept ng zero waste. Oo. So, parang kung i-explain natin in like 1 to 2 sentences sa kanila, kung ano ba talaga yung pinaka-practical na approach? Anong sa tingin nyo?
Ang pinaka-practical na approach, ibabalik mo sa pagkatao sa sarili. Sa isang araw na lumabas ka at gumamit ka ng mga bagay, kinakailangan ba talaga na mag ka ng so much, or there are ways that you can manage better na in a way na you know na sustainable din ang sarili mo, hindi napipid mo ng mabuti, pero hindi mo rin dinadamage ang ating kalikasan. It is a concept zero waste, pero ang daming practical na bagay na pwedeng paglaanan sa day-to-day mo. Halimbawa, kahit lang sa pagising mo sa umaga, paano ka nagmumumo? Pinababayaan mo bang tumatakbo yung tubig by itself? Or ibasa mo na lang? Then you save water. Kasi instead na maging wastewater siya, nagagamit ng mas maayos yung tubig na na-process na pwede na ng inumin. So, there are really, really very simple steps. Until unti-unti, magpe-penetrate yan sa mind, nakikita sa behavior, and then later on, that behavior already radiates to your neighbors, to your colleagues, until nakikikwento mo na, malalaman. Ito lagi nagdadala ng pwede ka namang magdadala niyan, nabala. And then, but then you persist on doing it, they realize, mas matipid at mas sustainable.
Okay, Sir Mon, thank you so much po. James?
Thank you so much for that, Sir Mon, and of course, JM, for the question. Final question na for me, Sir Mon. No? I hope you enlighten us. Kasi alam ko, na-mention nyo po, maganda yung nabanggit nyo, Sir, no? You mentioned about plans. Of course, kailangan may waste management, especially in medical facilities. It's very important. You mentioned about support from LGUs and syempre yung personal responsibility ng bawat isa. Alam ko po maraming nanonood ngayon, Sir Mon, and I know a lot of us are struggling, not just, alam ko yung pandemic has been very challenging for all of us. And aside from that, no, alam nga natin yung naging impact of COVID, of the pandemic in our environment. So just a very quick follow-up or a question for you. I know a lot of us are watching here, a lot of us are using face mask, PPEs, disposable man yan o hindi. Diba kanina na-mention nyo po, maganda na we shift to cloth, diba? Kasi para mas ma-manage or mabawasan yung waste, diba? At zero waste yung approach. Do you have any other tips po on how they can manage, how they can handle any medical-related waste? Kung PPEs man yan, face mask man yan, or others po, ano po ba yung mga tips ninyo para sa ating mga viewers ngayon, Sir Mon?
Ang ultimately, alam nyo, ang reduce ng COVID waste ay ma-reduce yung issue ng COVID cases. So in the big picture, therefore, if we have a better COVID response, then people will not be sending their relatives to the hospitals, and that's where ang bilangan namin, alam niyo, ng weight per bed. 3 kilos ba yan? 5 kilos ba yan? Kung wala akong pasyente na nagka-COVID, therefore, yung per bed na bilangan mo na yun, mananal yun. So, ang ibig ko lang sabihin, if we're talking about waste management in the context of COVID, a better COVID response is the key. That's one. And that, sino responsible doon? Again, it comes back both to the LGU, to the IATF, and then to us as the individuals. Like sending the message that, don't worry, Omicron would just make you have a mild case of COVID. That is pushing people, that message in itself can allow people to be a bit more reckless. Kasi okay lang naman pala eh. Whereas ang way really to manage Omicron, kasi makakahawa ka eh. Hindi naman ikaw lang ang nahawa eh, makakahawa ka eh, is to avoid getting one. And therefore, by avoid getting one, then yung sandamakmak na basura pag ikaw yung naging pasyente, naiiwasan mo na yon. But even how to avoid getting Omicron variant is just wearing, again, all the protocols, but including better mask wearing. Hindi ito usapin ng N95 ba yan or single use ba yan, but really taking in mind how you wear it and what is that material that protects it there. So it may be too much for others, but then again, we need to moderate it. Kasi in the end, ang simple eh. Hindi siya talaga dapat wasteful ang way to manage ourselves, to protect ourselves against COVID. And the best way to avoid COVID waste is not to get COVID.
Thank you very much. Very well said po, Sir Mon. Diba? Again, safety starts from us. Yan naman talaga yun, diba? So thank you so much for pointing that out, Sir Mon. Ang ganda ng discussion, JM, diba? But before we proceed, mamaya, kakausapin ulit natin Sir Mon, hopefully may time pa. Let's proceed sa ating next segment, JM. Meron ka atang mga reminders? Tama ba? I think you're on mute, friend.
We're having similar problems with Sir Mon there. But anyway, tama ka nga, Amy, no? So let's just put out just a few announcements po. Let's start with Klimapanayan. And this is a very, very interesting item that the Climate Reality team has done last year, and we're just going to continue on this year, no? It is one of the flagship engagement programs of the Climate Reality Project Philippines, designed. Sorry, we just get okay, there we go. Designed to help climate reality leaders to learn new approaches, skills, and tools on how to be an effective climate advocate. Para sa ating third installment of our workshop series, iniimbitahan po namin ang ating mga climate reality leaders and yung mga sumusunod sa atin, no, sa isang web workshop, no, called Selfie Saves Lives, Social Media Chatbots for Climate Adaptation and Disaster Response. At magaganap ito on the 31st of January, susunod na Lunes at 6:30 p.m. So sa mga magpa-participate dito sa workshop, they will be learning how to use mapakalamidad.ph, a crowd-based and social media-powered logistics platform that collects, organizes, and disseminates real-time flood information from both formal and informal sources dito sa Pilipinas. Like I said, no, this workshop is open to all. Just register at the link that will be provided, no, by the Climate Reality team. Okay, so Ames, I think it's
interesting yan. Sana po, no, ito po, very, very helpful yan, no, mapakalamidad.ph po, again, diba, real-time flood information. So alam ko maraming makaka-relate yan sa Philippines. Kaya sana po ay sumali kayo. So very, very exciting. We're very excited for that session, diba? Kasi yung last one was about mental anxiety. So ang ganda rin ng discussion na yun. So we hope to see you guys there. So we're also inviting everyone to watch the 75th episode of Stories for a Better Normal Pandemic and Climate Pathways entitled Young Climate Leaders Breaking Barriers. In this upcoming episode, youth climate reality leaders will showcase their initiatives on climate change adaptation and mitigation, climate finance, and climate communication. Joining Deputy Speaker Lauren Legarda in this episode are climate reality leaders Fert Vandenstein Manaysay of the Climate Reality Project Philippines, Sarah Jane Ahmed of Financial Futures Center, and Carissa Pobre of Slow Food Sari Sari and Agam Agenda. Watch the episode on the official Facebook pages of Deputy Speaker Lauren Legarda at facebook.com/I am Lauren Legarda. Of course, the Climate Change Commission, facebook.com/CCCPHL, and of course, the Climate Reality Project Philippines Facebook page, Climate Reality Philippines. Siyempre, ito pong Facebook page na ito. So bukas na po yan, no? Mga dear viewers, so sana panoorin nyo rin po.
Ayan, at manonood din ako. I think manonood din si Amy bukas. No? Isa pa pong announcement. Attention to all Pinoy climate reality leaders that are watching today's episode. Sana makakasali rin kayo sa Klimatotohanan production team and help us produce the show. So this Klimatotohanan webcast is a venue for dialogue among Pinoy climate reality leaders and other climate advocates to deepen each other's understanding of climate change and help each other take bolder climate action. Siyempre, as part of the production team, you would have the ability, or actually the opportunity to hone or even discover your skills and talents, be it in hosting, writing, or designing. Tulad namin, Amy. Yeah, nagko-host kami. So if you're unable to join the production team, baka nahiya naman kayo, it's okay. Connect with us on social media and do share the episodes on your accounts.
Correct. So sali na po kayo. Masaya maging part ng production team. And of course, that's a way for you to also practice your climate action and your acts of leadership, especially dun sa ating mga CRLs. Ayan, so join na po kayo. Alright, so before we proceed, JM, syempre, basahin muna natin ang mga comments, of course, sa ating Facebook stream. Hello again to everybody watching us. Dami nating viewers, na-excite ako. Ang dami nating viewers ngayon. Let me read just a few of our comments. Hello to Fatima Manda of Marawi City. Hello. Good afternoon po, Elizabeth Joy de Lima of Valenzuela City, School of Mathematics and Science. Hello din kay St. Lopez, member of YesO, watching from senior high school, elementary school in Bacoor. Oy, wow. Hello to YesO, laging nanonood yan sa atin. So hello sa inyo lahat. Arlene Baldovino from Barangay Magdalo, Imus City, Cavite. Hello din to Oshine Montimor, tama ba ako? Xavier University of Ateneo de Cagayan. Another member of YesO, si Frances Claire Olorosa. Watching us from Valenzuela, Sandra Pasha. Meron din pong nanonood from Division of San Jose City. Hello po sa inyo. Hello to Micaela Christine Arcega from Camarines. Hello sa mga taga Bicol. Another member of YesO, Angela Lim. Ang dami nating friends sa YesO. Hello. Maraming salamat po sa continuous na support ninyo. To Frances Claire Olorosa, again, of YesO. Hello din po sa mga taga-Iriga City, Camarines Sur, si Salome Ramos Flotildes. Tama ba yon? And of course, to Richie Jana Baril, YesO again. No? Maraming salamat talaga sa mga members ng YesO. Also to Lana Nicole M. Araha. So maraming salamat po. Kung hindi man namin kayo na-mention, tuloy-tuloy lang po. Comment lang po kayo ng comment dyan kasi na-appreciate po namin ang mga mensahe ninyo. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtutok. Please stay with us until the end of the show kasi mamaya po magkakaroon tayo ng question and answer sa ating mga speakers. Kaya comment lang po kung ano yung mga gusto nyong itanong. Alam ko may mga nakita na rin ako mga tanong, JM. Mamaya babasahin natin yan.
Yes, and kami ni Amy, excited kami dun sa mga tanong nyo na gusto namin ibigay sa ating mga panel ngayong gabi. At let's proceed muna to our next segment kasi gusto nating malaman kung ano yung paano natin talaga i-champion yung zero waste kahit may pandemya. Kaya medyo mapapatulong ko talaga na does the pandemic really mean shifting toward disposable plastics na uh, nakaka-threaten talaga sa sa ating kapaligiran at yung kalusugan ng ating mga komunidad? So I'm going to ask Marian some questions about this. No, hopefully we can be guided by your knowledge and wisdom on this one. So, sa tingin mo, what are the challenges of campaigning for zero waste at the time of the pandemic?
Yeah, thanks for that question, JM. There are a lot of challenges for campaigning for zero waste, specifically yun lang. But adding a pandemic into the mix makes it a lot harder. There were a lot of fears and uncertainty around the transmission of the coronavirus, and that really hindered people's use of reusables. They were second guessing yung paggamit ng mga reusable materials like cutlery na before the pandemic we were using, and it got them to question, are these reusables safe? How do we protect ourselves? It didn't help that the plastic industry in various countries were actively lobbying for the use of single-use plastics as protective measures against COVID. And that all of those things really led to more single-use plastics and disposables being used by people thinking that those were safer, when in reality, hindi naman. In reality, reusables are just as safe as single-use plastics, and in a way, they're even safer because they were designed to be used repeatedly and washed and disinfected repeatedly. And there are also mga studies rin around how the virus stays on plastic surfaces for several days. So when you look at it from that point of view, kailangan ring ma-inform yung mga tao and really to give them more information on how to safely use reusables and just how safe these reusables are. Another challenge was the rise rin of e-commerce during this time. I mean, we already saw yung nagte-trend na or nag-i-increase na yung paggamit ng e-commerce before COVID, but really parang na-accelerate yung paggamit nito because of, again, fears, disinformation, limited mobility during lockdown. And then that led to people relying on Grab, Foodpanda, or online shopping like Shopee and Lazada. And that resulted in a lot more packaging waste, that way more than what our cities can really deal with. And in a sense, rin, that's also connected to yung next challenge, which is false solutions. False solutions like waste to energy, co-processing of plastic in cement kilns. Those have also been on the rise due to so much more residual waste, especially single-use plastics. And the frustrating thing is they sort of muddy yung conversation. They distract people, particularly yung local governments natin, from real solutions like zero waste. And the sad thing is that they incentivize rin the generation of more waste instead of prevention. So those kinds of false solutions are pretty frustrating in of themselves. Dagdagan mo pa yung impacts ng false solutions na yun, like they release greenhouse gases, they produce toxic emissions, and we're currently in a health crisis and a climate emergency. So for governments, companies to try to push these kinds of false solutions that will cause more health problems, like poorer air quality, and also contributing to the climate crisis, parang it's also adds another layer of not just frustration siguro, but yet challenges to deal with to try to reintroduce zero waste as a viable option.
Oh, wow. No. Grabe. Well, okay, let's move siguro on a more positive mood. Tingin mo, what benefits can individuals or organizations or businesses can get from shifting, even now, despite the pandemic, to zero waste practices?
Well, I guess from a practical point of view, first and foremost, you're reducing or eliminating waste, which means that you're going to have less expenses for waste management, less effort in handling that waste. And of course, that also means na may more savings, which you can direct to other needs or other investments for your home, your institution, or your enterprise. Then meron ring return on investment sa reusables. You only have to buy reusables once, and then you have full use of it until their end of life. Repeated yung use nila. With single-use plastics and other disposables, one time lang, and then bibili ka naman again and again. That I know that when you buy reusables, yung first time, it will be more than how much single-use plastics will cost. Pero over time, mababawi mo talaga yung investment mo in that sense. And from a business perspective naman, there's always there's more interest now in sustainable products among consumers. There's a lot of studies showing that consumers have more preference for companies or products na environmentally sound. And so you're catering to that growing market of environmentally conscious na mga clients. I guess more important than that side, yung sa practical matters, there's also environmental and health benefits to zero waste. And I think those really are the crucial reasons why people should adopt zero waste. For one, when you're avoiding generating waste that can degrade our ecosystems and disrupt livelihoods or industries that are dependent on those healthy ecosystems. So you're protecting nature and aspects of our daily life that's linked to nature. And then you can also prevent pollutants and toxic emissions. I mentioned it earlier. These emissions and pollutants that come from, example, the production of plastic, they can contaminate food and water sources. They're also linked to severe health conditions like cancer and respiratory problems. And going into the realm of plastics when it comes to zero waste, that also means a lot less greenhouse gases. So in that respect, your zero waste safeguards public health, our community's well-being, and also our climate.
Well, yeah, very, very interesting answers. This again, I agree naman, no, na at first parang aaray ka talaga dun sa costs na simula. Pero yeah, if you think long term, talagang in the end, hindi ka lang nakaka-save dun sa environment, nakaka-save ka rin ng pera. It's true, so true. I mean, lalo na sa mga nagtatumbler dyan, shout out sa mga nagtatumbler dyan, sa office, sa school, sa bahay. Wow.
Yeah.
So, before we go to another part of our segment, I'd like to ask one more question na kay Marian. So, could you provide us with like a success story maybe of a zero waste business or community? Tsaka sa tingin mo, why is zero waste a very key builder to a healthy and better economy?
Yeah, if maraming ang challenges before, marami ring success stories to share about zero waste. Globally, you have companies like Loop, who actually provides reusable na packaging for yung conventional goods and items that we would buy in groceries. Merong Phoenix, which they created this great system na would prevent food waste from supermarkets and then making available yung food that could have gone to waste to consumers. We also have companies like Recircle and Bearpack in Switzerland and Singapore respectively. So those two companies naman yung specialty nila is reusable na mga containers for food so that you can have reusables instead of disposables when you're ordering out or when you're getting deliveries from platforms like Grab and Foodpanda. Locally naman, marami rin, Greenpeace actually featured several Philippine SMEs last year One of those is Back to Basics, which I think in one of our webinars with Climate Reality, we featured one of the founders of Back to Basics. Another one is Templada here in Negros under PRR CFI's Wala Osik Economy program. And then one of our partners sa BFFP, Mother Earth Foundation's Juana Zero stores. And the interesting thing about these examples ng mga Philippine SMEs is that they were able to innovate and thrive despite the pandemic being here. So they did really well. Yung Wala Usik economy businesses, they transitioned to refilling or reusables or native packaging during the pandemic. Back to Basics, they had pop-up na refilling model, which they expanded their online accessibility, so my orders, and then they also expanded yung delivery operations nila during the lockdown. So, and then for Juana Zero, I really like this example kasi they were able to provide yung zero waste na community pantry when times really were tough for the community that they were based in. So for me, magandang example sila of what you can do despite the pandemic. In terms of communities naman, the Philippines has some great examples, actually examples na recognized around the globe. Examples of cities na may zero waste programs are San Fernando, Tacloban, and Malabon. And there are also cities na may zero waste policies. I think Russell mentioned earlier na may government component, may policy component rin yung zero waste. And so zero waste policies in the form of plastic bans can be found in places like QC or San Carlos City. So marami talaga. You'd be surprised how many successful stories there are when it comes to zero waste.
Sorry, unmute ko na naman ulit. Sarili ko there. Sorry about that. Wow, no, dami palang mga examples, no? And I hope na, well, Ames, grabe, no? I mean, we can contribute siguro din sa ating discussion on how to be more zero waste friendly or more zero waste advocates because of all of that. Wow. At
JM, I must say, natuwa ako sa Tumblr mo kasi nasabi mo nga yan. Ang dami kong Tumblr, hindi ko alam bawat lugar ata. So feeling ko, di ba? At saka kutsara. Ako may fascination ako sa mga kutsara at tinidor. So every time I go to the grocery, hindi ko alam na ano ko, naturally napapapunta ako sa Tumblr at mga kutsara. So medyo may ganun kang fascination ngayon pag nagpa-practice ka. And obviously, ang laki ng tulong niya ngayong pandemic because you don't necessarily eat, 'di ba, sa restaurant. So talagang mostly even sa labas or sa kotse, 'di ba? O kaya sa bahay, 'di ba? 'Yun yung oftentimes kinakainan mo. So, yeah, natawa lang ako dun sa Tumblr. I can totally relate to that. Okay. So thank you so much, 'di ba? Thank you so much to Marian. Alam ko ang dami niya nabanggit. I hope you guys, she mentioned about some local companies. I hope you guys support natin yung mga local refill stores that you have at your communities, diba? Back to Basics, of course, si Kate is our CRL, diba? One of our climate reality leaders also. And let's support, diba? Kasi yan yung one way. Alam ko may mga ibang nagtatanong, how do I start the zero waste journey? Support natin yung mga local companies such as that, diba? Kasi nakakatulong po talaga sila. Especially for you, if you want to buy, let's say ayaw yung bumili na naka-plastic, naka-sachet, then support yon kasi nandun po pwede kayo mag-refill. So thank you so much to Marian and to JM, of course. Mamaya kausapin pa natin si Marian and hopefully learn more from her. So thank you so much, Marian. Of course, JM, next na, no? Syempre ang ating special guest who will serve as a reactor also for this episode. Siyempre, pag-uusapan natin kung ano ba yung reaction niya dun sa mga nabanggit ng ating mga previous speakers so far. I'm very excited to talk to you, Russ. What do you think? What's your reaction so far of our discussion this afternoon?
Yeah, our discussion this afternoon is very interesting and actually, I think needed for us to really talk about it now. We've been talking about it a long time. But the good thing about this afternoon is how multifaceted yung naging usapan natin, how zero waste is not just about individual consumption. That's just one part of this whole equation, but it is also about we as a society, or how we as a society curb our waste in different facets of our life. So meron kasi before na parang there were narratives na nagre-revolve lang how individuals are responsible in their own reducing, reusing, recycling, and other ways, and means to, lessen their waste. But sometimes it becomes a burden if we certain sectors of our society don't have access to it. So pag-uusapan natin yung accessibility naman doon. And if we talk about accessibility, we also have to look at how our policies help the access to different alternatives. And how policies support our shift to zero waste, the creation of a zero waste society. So it's good if you can. There are really different sectors in our society that have access, they have the means, they have the budget to buy the current alternatives. Na sinabi na nga kanina na hindi ganun ka mura yung iba, no? Of course, yung iba medyo mura-mura, so kaya. Pero syempre, yung pag-shift to alternatives, minsan budget yan na pangkain ng pamilya, no? And we should not just guilt trip them na parang, bakit ka na naman nagke-create ng basura, or parang you're not shifting to zero waste, you're the problem. Because we need to look at it na parang how do our policies shape our access to different alternatives. So it's good if you can, but definitely there should not be like just individual burdening or individual blaming if they are not capable, because the government, corporations, private sectors can also feel in that need to realize our zero waste society goals. This is to say that this is a collaborative effort, no? Very interesting also discussion to learn more about the insight of how intersection of public health and plastic pollution is. One of the things we discussed before, when we were pushing for anti-single-use plastics, is really how important for the healthcare yung single-use plastics. So there are really single-use plastics na for single-use talaga siya kasi there are medical equipment that's not reusable and is not recyclable because of the toxic waste nga, no? So hindi na parang hugas-hugas lang, but maganda yung insight na there are tools, or there are plastic products na pwede naman nating hindi na gamitin, katulad ng face mask, face shield kanina, na hindi necessary. So yung mga ganon, kaya papasok yung phasing out din ng single-use plastics. Importante yon, which is what's currently also being debated upon or being discussed upon sa current na mga anti-single-use plastic bills natin. And it goes without saying that yung sinabi kanina na the pandemic coupled with the climate impacts our countrymen suffer is a clear indicator that our old normal was ineffective and we cannot go back to it. So we need a better reality through a recovery plan anchored on science and justice, and zero waste is connected to our COVID response as a society. So we can link COVID-19 in our COVID-19, of course, is better prevented or is far preferable to curing an illness, and plastic pollution is a long-haul illness of the environment and climate. And ayun nga, more than managing plastic waste, better if we can prevent it. And we sa youth cluster ng Climate Reality Project Philippines believes that if it's not, there are short-term solutions, that's good. That's just like to pause everything, but we need long-term solution. And alam ko, ang dami ko nagsabi, no? Kasi ang ganda ng discussion this afternoon, ang gandang mga narratives na na-bring up. So yun, then to bring up is how zero waste is a concept, and minsan overwhelming siya. Because it's wide, it's all-encompassing, no? From water waste to our agricultural to our food, that's part of the zero waste. And of course, plastic pollution is one big aspect of it. Maganda yung sinabi kanina na zero waste is a concept pero madami ang practical na implementation. So yun, sa pagbanggit na kanina na parang from our hygiene na sa pagmumug natin umaga, how can we lessen our waste if we can, you know? Hindi of course, good if we have access to alternatives as I've mentioned kanina. But there are also different ways that we can also lessen na ng pakonti ko. Kasi it transition, di ba? Also, parang you are being wasteful as an individual and we as a society as a whole, no? And perhaps we can have things naging malaki kasi siya as we become more mindful of our behaviors and of our system. So, yun siguro yung current reaction ko of our
Thank you so much.
So, very interested to learn more about this afternoon.
Correct. Thank you so much for that. You've mentioned very, very strong points about access. Diba? Maganda yung nasabi mo. Tama yan. Diba, Ross? You've mentioned about that. And at the same time, you also mentioned about, ang ganda nung na-mention ni Ross about access, about, you know, yung highlighting what all of our speakers had mentioned, diba? And being a concept, diba? Na meron talagang specific implementation, sabi nga, or tactics na pwede natin gawin. So thank you so much for sharing your insights, Ross. Na-mention mo kanina, diba, about what youth cluster is doing. Can you share to us more? Alam ko very active ang ating youth cluster. What are the steps now? What are still things that you guys are doing in the youth cluster to contribute to the zero waste movement? Alam ko sinimulan mo na to kanina, Ross. Can you share to us what are you still doing to contribute to the zero waste movement?
Yeah, of course, as the youth cluster, we try our best to also, you know, take part in the solution, not only just, you know, pointing out the different problems and also pointing out where we can improve. We also take part in like the implementation and the realization of this improvement. So the youth cluster anti-single-use plastic project is of course in partnership now with Greenpeace. So that's why we're kind of familiar already with the activities of Greenpeace. We also try to take a whole of society approach in that campaign, and has a project arm targeting government, yun yung phase out plastic PH. We also have a campaign arm na targeting the private individuals, the plastic-free agenda, and businesses, which will launch soon, no? It's underway pa lang. So for phase out plastic PH, as mentioned, plastic is not new to the government, or plastic pollution is not new, no? Meron na tayong current policy is trying to curb the plastic pollution. However, it is heavily nuanced with a lot of areas for false solutions, which is why the youth cluster is one of the many organizations that are advocating for the right single-use plastic bill, which includes the extended producer's responsibility bill that's currently in the Senate. So, as well as a single-use plastics phase out with an ambitious timeline that reflects the urgency of the crisis. Sa the plastic-free agenda naman, ito yung babalik tayo na changing the world includes changing ourselves also. They are symbiotic. It's not just one or another. It's not black and white. That is, any habits we may have that contribute to the problem but that we can change. Every action starts with education, which is what the plastic-free agenda is all about. Learning what we can improve with ourselves, learning what can be improved in the systems that perpetuate waste, and knowing we have the agency to affect both. So, ayun, going back lang sa policy part na sinusulong din namin, yung sa extended producer's responsibility na how it is integral part of circular economy, and it is the policy approach requiring establishments that produce and distribute materials to be responsible for such after their useful life. We agree to that, but it is not the sole answer to our plastic crisis nga. Kasi while the extended producer's responsibility bill should be institutionalized to handle the plastic waste in circulation, a total ban on production tsaka distribution ng single-use plastics products and packaging is the only true solution. So that's where the youth cluster stands, no? And just also to discuss, this is to open also collaboration from everyone watching. Thank you for joining us this evening, no? We are continuously engaging government at both national and local level and advocating for the right single-use plastic bill by partnering with like-minded organizations. So if you're interested to bring the campaigns to your schools, to your organizations, to your locality, do contact us. And we want to raise more awareness. So we would really want to onboard also creators out there. Syempre mga Gen Zs natin na ang gagaling mag-TikTok, hindi ko yan kaya. Gen Z pa naman ako, pero hindi ko yan kaya. So baka you want to partner with us. And we will be rolling out also the plastic-free agenda beyond the Climate Reality Project. So nagkaroon kami ng pilot na pilot program ng mga campaigns namin ito. We want to extend it to schools and universities, and we, as mentioned earlier, we want to further tackle plastic pollution by also partnering and helping our medium and small MSMEs. Medium, small, MSME.
Micro, small, medium enterprises. Yun.
Kaya pala, nauna yung medium. Kaya, yun, micro, small, medium enterprises. So if there are like small business there and you want to take part in the solution, we want to also help you. Let's help each other. And that's on the way pa lang. So that's currently what we're doing, and what we're doing as youth cluster coordinators now.
Exciting. Naku, excited ako dyan. JM, sa totoo lang, gusto ko sana yun. Nakaso biglang Gen Z daw. So parang hindi ako ubra doon. So,
pwede naman.
Ouch daw from the millennials. Ouch. Joke.
Consultant lang ang peg natin. So thank you again, guys. Ang ganda ng call to action ni Ras, di ba? So if you guys are interested, alam ko maraming students, di ba, na nanonood ngayon. You're part of your organizations. Connect with us. We need you. Alam ko, kaya kayo nanonood, it's because you want to be part of the solution. So join us, di ba? Join us and let's fight this, di ba? Talagang para yan sa environment natin. So thank you so much to Ras. Final words. Alam ko maraming nanonood sa atin na mga youth, 'di ba? Part of our ang mga kabataang Pilipino, Ras. Ano yung pwede mong share or tips or advice to them para ma-push nila tong zero waste, 'di ba? Sa kanilang buhay, sa pamilya, sa communities. What are your final tips to them?
Siguro final tips is to first understand that this is our future. So we have really a stake. Need to take part in this. Kasi when people see that you care about something, they become also conscious why. This is to say na when I was shifting, my behavior, my consumer, I was being even to the point na I changed my diet to lessen my waste. There are going to be like tensions na parang bakit naman this is not a big deal, ang liit lang nito, but it's okay. You just need to continue and to believe that this is one of the many ways that you can help, and hopefully that that also when people see that, they'll be inspired also, and they'll be curious to know more. Sometimes we can't give all the solutions. We just need to start showing a little bit of everything, and they'll be more conscious to, baka pwede nga, and that really creates change. And because we can, and as with good change, we must do this. And as the youth, maingay kami usually. May energy pa kami magingay. May energy din kami mag-TikTok, mag-YouTube. There are so many ways that you can help. Usually, it's not just speaking. Kasi ako, it's easy for me to speak. It's easy for me to change my lifestyle. If it's easier for you to just have a sit down with your family, if it's easier for you to, create a module, for example, for your communities, then do that. Like bank on your talents and then mix it with this, with what we need to do to create a zero waste society. So, yon.
Wonderful insights. Thank you so much to Ross. Grabe, no? Napaka-inspiring talaga ng youth natin, JM, di ba? Ikaw, what do you say? What can you say about that?
Ang masasabi ko lang, hindi po kinakaya yung mga ginagawa nila.
Kailangan natin na enervon. So thank you so much to Roz. What's our next step? Ano nang next natin, JM? Kasi I guess nasa ano na tayo, no? Ang ganda ng insights from our speakers. Obviously, alam ko maraming excited na magtanong. Alam ko may mga nakita na akong tanong, JM. What do you think?
Well, may mga tanong na tayo na pumapasok sa ating Facebook comments. Guys, just keep on coming. And we'll send in your questions to our panel maya-maya lang.
Yes, correct. But before we do that, shout out muna tayo, JM. Alam ko may mga nanonood pa sa atin. Of course, to Quen Zira Falnar. Again, sa YesO, ayan, sa mga kaibigan natin sa YesO Senior High School within Bacoor Elementary School. To Madhumita Das, watching from Kolkata, India. Hello. Hi to Madhumita Das. Hello. Jason Arrow from Alaminos City, Pangasinan. Ayan, working from Environmental Monitoring Officer of DNR. Hello po. Ayan, nakiki-shout out din po yung mga aso namin dito. Katrina Paula Cebolina from La Union. Good afternoon to Eliza Umbay from La Union. Hello also to Billy Tolosa, a member of YesO. Ang dami talaga ng YesO. Vanessa Santiago, hello po to Ms. Vanessa Santiago. Siya po ang YesO advisor. Salamat po for encouraging your members to join and to watch. Jack Ramos, Jaka, idol daw po niya si Jay. Uy, meron ka palang fan dito, JM. Hello. Correct.
Jack, hi.
Mami ko hindi pa ata gising. To Verhel Emerson Ancheta watching from Division of San Jose City. Hello. Naku, dami nating fans, no? Francesca Lorraine Tubil of Taguig City. Good afternoon to Christian Rosales of Montalban, Rizal. Yan, nakita ko rin si Nash watching from CBO. Sabi niya, I look forward to hearing how to implement zero waste strategies, especially with COVID-related waste. Naku, sinabi yan kanina ni Sir Mon. Sana napanood mo kanina, Nash. Hello to Jade Lawrence Barlas from Tres Martires City, Cavite. Hello to Gino Banoy Jr. watching from Kisao, Pililia, Rizal. Tama ba ako? To Shekina Kabotahe from San Jose City. Hello din to Daniel Fajardo from San Jose City. Ay, marami tayong friendship sa San Jose City. Hello to Maria Venice Reyes from Marshall o Ranolia Memorial School from Ginobatan, Albay. Hello din po kay Alexis Porilla from Claveria, Cagayan Valley. Hello also to Oliver Olin Olango from Ginobatan, Albay. Naku, marami rin tayong friends sa Ginobatan, Albay. Lenary Potonia, diba, from Marshall Ranolia Memorial School. Hello also to Rashida Maguindanao of YesO. Ayan, ang dami talaga nating friends doon. Nancy Omandam from Siquijor. Hello din po kay Cheryl Puraganan from La Union. Yan, to Novemi Ignacio from Quirino. Dami nating friendship. Hello to Ray Sario. Hello to our fellow CRL from General Trias, Cavite. Hello sa'yo. If you guys follow their Facebook page, meron po siyang feature about teachers. So sana nabasa niyo po yan. To Shayna Nova Mika Tuso, watching from Butuan City. Parang kilala ko ata. To friendship yata to ni Miss Marisol Tuso. To Sonia, hi to Miss Sonia. Hello to Miss Sonia Lariosa of Sorsogon, fellow CRL din po natin. Hello to Golda Oleriana, member of Marshall, Banyola Memorial School. To Jessa Cordero of Iloilo. To Pasha Sandra, of course, shout out sa SFM, NHS students in Valenzuela City. And of course, to Jason Aro, I think si Jason na-mention na natin kanina. To Daphne Lou Tolod from Cagayan de Oro, marami rin pala sa CBO, no? And Nikki, nako, hello Nikki, fellow CRL. Alam ko po umuulan, no? So ingat po tayong lahat, especially doon sa mga naaabutan ng ulan. To Eden Belyote of North Cotabato, to Edith Rosario of La Union, and to Jenky Yabao of Tanay Rizal. Naku, ang dami pa. Meron pa Lorelai Maxino of Lucena City, Hannah Gonzalez of Quezon City, and Tran Long Hao from Vietnam. Oh, so hello. Hello to Tran Long Hai. Meron tayong from India. Hello from India and from Vietnam. So nagiging ano na tayo, global na tayo, JM, 'di ba? So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. So before we proceed, JM, basa lang muna tayo ng ilang mga comments and questions, 'di ba? So ito po, to all of our guest speakers, and if we can request you to please turn on your video if you can, if you're still here. Babasahin po namin ni JM yung ilan sa mga questions po from our viewers. And pa-mine na lang po. Mine lang po. Sabihin nyo, mine, raise your hands. Sumagot po kung gusto ninyo. Uso kasi ang mining ngayon, di ba? Sa mga gusto pong sumagot ngayon. So if you can request you, ayan, si Coleen is here, si Marian. Of course, Ramon, if you're there, and si Ross, if you can, mine lang, no? Paunahan sa mine to, di ba? So very exciting questions. The first question from Jennifer Cernilia of Antique. Okay. Later na lang yan. Kay Jessie na lang muna. Jessie
Joy. Yeah.
Sa ating mga CRLs. Hi! Nako, hello to Jessie. Ang question po, hotels as a quarantine facilities should also lessen. Sabi, actually it's a comment pala, not a question. Hotels as a quarantine facility should lessen the use of plastics, di ba? Instead of wrapping food with plastic, why not use proper packaging po? And also, let's just use containers, diba, that is filled with enough water rather than plastic bottles. Isa-isa kasi yan. Tama, ang ganda ng pinoint out ni Resi, diba? Kasi meron ng options ngayon, diba? May mga options, alternatives like gawa sa cassava, etc., diba? Siguro I can ask if any of our speakers can comment on that. Meron ba kayong gustong i-comment about what si Resi mentioned? Kasi totoo, JM, no, ginagamit yung mga hotels ngayon bilang quarantine facility. So, sabi niya rito is, instead of wrapping food, plastics, di ba, gumagamit tayo ng matinding plastics, pwede naman gumamit ng containers, etc. So, I think Sir Mon is raising his hand. Sir Mon, ano po ang inyong comment? If you have any comments or feedback or tips also related to this?
Yeah, there is that very strong observation about the establishment na nang dumating yung pandemic, suddenly most of them resorted to disposable ng mga kitchenware, which is wrong for many reasons. One is costly to the establishment, and therefore you pass it on to the consumer. Secondly, just like any virus, COVID is simply washed out by soap and water. Therefore, it has no basis when establishments simply begin serving food in a disposable plastic. Kasi pwede naman talagang inuhugasan lang yan. So, to those that you've seen na bumalik doon sa washable, reusable, that's the correct way of managing the situation. Overreaction yung parang lahat na lang ay disposable. Even to the, if I can mention, Starbucks, for example. Before COVID, they're even putting premium, and they will discount you 5 pesos if you order using your tumbler. But when COVID came, not only that they got rid of that practice, putting incentive to a sustainable way of serving coffee, but as well, they begin getting rid of yung mga mugs that are washable, and then just serving it dun sa nilang disposable na mga cup. Again, mali po yun kasi even in our own home, why do we keep on washing our own plates kahit nagka-COVID? Ganon din naman sa mga establishment. ingatan lang, hugasan mabuti, at i-serve uli doon sa isang, at mas matipid yun. And at the same time, it teaches people to a more correct way of managing this pandemic. Ang kasi nagiging common response, ultra precaution by doing away with the washable and serving everything in a disposable. So kung yan ay yung mga quarantine facilities, better din sana na ganun yung mangyari. Nakakairita kasi parang lahat na lang ibinalot sa plastic. Pati sa jeep, at man nakakatulong, lahat nakahati ng plastic. Alam naman natin na ineffective din yun. Lahat na lang plastic, which is an overreaction.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Mon. No? Since I have you here already, Sir Mon, may question specifically for you, and it's from, babasahin ko lang, sir, from Facebook. It's from Ed Tochi. Ayan, Ed Tochi, hello to you. To Sir Mon, what's the position of DOH regarding findings of your audit? Kasi na-mention yun, sir, kanina, di ba, nag-audit kayo of the hospitals. Ano po yung naging reaction ng DOH dun sa findings po ng audit on the public hospitals?
Well, they are working on training materials that will address a better way of managing COVID waste. Although it takes time, kasi na-overwhelm sila ng search after search after search. Parang there's no proactive na instance na ngayon. Lahat na lang, therefore, in fact, there is a recent memo from the DOH saying na kung kayo ay invited magsalita sa ganitong forum at labas kaya sa COVID response, huwag nyo na munang tanggapin. So that's how they're coping up na parang lahat na lang ay COVID. But from the audit, the plan is to develop training materials that will help their personnel, including hospital personnel, to cope better in a more sustainable way with waste related to COVID. Ngayon, how soon can they get to those modules? Now overwhelmed sila doon sa mga searches. Unfortunately.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, so again, guys, you can, if you want access to the findings, no, yung mini-mention natin kanina about the public hospitals, the audit that they did, you can actually view it sa Facebook page ng organization nila, Sir Mon. So thank you for that, Sir Mon. JM, do you want to take the next question?
Sure. May question po tayo from from one of the teachers dito, Ms. Nancy Omandam. No? Can solid waste management also come up with protocols to effectively manage their wastes at the source, katulad po ng pagsusuot ng mga face mask, which has been the standard operating procedure?
So the question is, can solid waste management also come out with protocols to effectively manage their waste at source? Okay. Ayan, Marian, sige, the floor is yours.
Yeah, actually, marami ring examples of how yung practitioners in the solid waste management na sector can cut down on their own waste. Looking at specifically for mga waste pickers or waste workers, they can start using mga reusable na personal protective equipment. Like there are rubber gloves that are designed for reuse, and that can protect them when they're handling waste. Same rin with masks that they can use na reusable. Like Sir Ramon said, importante lang that there will be multiple layers for the mask to also protect them from other communicable diseases that they might contract. And those are just some of the things that they can do to cut down on the waste in terms of protecting themselves. I think from ecological solid waste management na principles, we should really also push for better segregation and to ensure na yung residual waste na pupunta sa landfills and that they will handle bababa rin. And then also looking at yun talaga mga systemic na mga answers in terms of like the government mandating or banning certain residual waste like single-use plastics or maybe other disposables na hindi marirecycle natin. And then also in terms of segregation, meron ring really good systems para mapupunta yung organic waste natin to composting facilities. And in that sense, you would not only decrease yung residual waste na pupunta sa landfills, but you're also coming up with new resources and inputs na magagamit ng community for community gardens or maybe magagamit ng ibang sectors for food production.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the insights. Tama, di ba? Ang ganda nung nabanggit ni Marian, JM, di ba? Kasi it's very important, di ba? Na nakita natin yung importance. And I think a lot of organizations are actually aware of this already and hopefully practicing, diba? Practicing this already. So thank you so much for that, Marian. Meron pa bang gustong sumagot sa ating question? I think we can move forward to our next question. So
may pick up the next question. Dito.
Sure, go ahead.
Kasi kaibigan ko to eh.
Okay, go ahead.
He's one of my bosses. Hi. So the next, actually it's a comment coming from a friend of mine. His name's Kiko Velhagen. And he said that given that initial and applicable consumer solutions on waste were to shift to environmentally friendly products and steering away from plastics, but now industries are moving towards more recycling and plastic upcycling, possibly influencing consumers to feel okay about buying plastics again. Which should be supported more? Here's the question pala, no? Which should be supported more, or what are your thoughts about this matter?
So parang dito, JM, kasi diba, we're saying that a lot of course, obviously, a lot of people are saying, obviously, diba, zero waste is the key, but a lot of people are saying, hindi, sige, kaya naman i-recycle yan, diba? Kaya namang i-upcycle yan. So a lot of people, sabi nga ni Kiko, they're saying that it's possibly influencing consumers, diba, to buy plastics kasi kaya naman siya i-recycle, no? So let me, Marian first to answer, and then to Coleen after.
The sad thing kasi about this idea na everything should be recycled or magpropromote ng recyclables or upcycling is that it's good for the waste that we currently have, but in terms of preventing future waste generation, it's counterintuitive kasi all these systems are currently built on the idea na sige mag-produce and produce tayo ng waste, and then these can turn into new products. What people don't really realize is that hindi siya completely hindi siya circular in a true sense kasi napupunta lang siya into turned into other goods or other products, pero you're still drawing a lot of virgin or raw materials from the earth. You're still extracting from the planet. And tama yung idea na there's this false assurance na okay, I can keep using these single-use plastics kasi i-recycle naman ito or gagawin naman ito ng into a chair or into a piece of construction material. And that really doesn't help people get out of the mindset na magbawas na ng reliance on single-use plastic or gumamit na lang ng reusable kasi it sort of gives them an excuse or a justification to keep using plastics. And I'm sure a lot of people know this in the call. There's this statistic, diba, na only 9% of all plastics that's ever been made since the 1950s, 9% lang yung na-recycle. So that's a really small percentage when you look at it, when we're producing billions of pieces of plastic. So I think in that sense, it's not really helpful to think of recyclables or upcycling as a solution to our plastic problems. They're stopgap measure lang, and we really have to start thinking about turning off the tap.
Thank you so much for that, Marian. Ang ganda ng insights, no? I hope si Kiko was hearing the answers. Talagang very insightful yung nabanggit ni Marian. So thank you for that. Coleen, do you have anything to add up? Yeah, go ahead.
I'd just like to echo with Marian na yun nga, the problem with recycling, it's just the downstream approach eh. So parang it gives you the justification, okay lang gumamit ng single use kasi i-recycle naman to. But at the very core, yun nga, once it's manufactured, it is already a persistent pollutant. So yung hierarchy ng zero waste really is unang-una, it's reduction, and sana nasa pinakababa talaga dapat. That's the parang the least alternative would be to recycle. And yun nga, that madami naman ng mga business models that actually is circular. Really, we really have to just go back to basics kasi imagine, di ba, as Marian mentioned, it was only in the 1950s as plastics was made. Siguro naabutan pa ng, I'm not sure with kayo, kung naabutan niyo pa yung mga time na dinideliver right to your doorstep yung milk, di ba, na may takal-takal talaga. So, we just really have to go back to the way it used to be. And again, babalik talaga sa problem on convenience.
Thank you so much. Very strong point yan. Tama, ibalik natin yun, di ba? Yung tingi-tingi, yung mga suka na nilalagay lang sa no? Sa mga garapon, di ba? Kaya balik natin yon kasi naging effective, di ba? Naging effective naman siya. Thank you so much for your insights, Coleen. Now, if our speakers do not have anything to add, last question na. Alam ko ang dami pa. Alam ko marami pa po kayong questions, but we have to limit some of it. So hopefully our speakers, if you have time, if you can visit the Facebook Live page, the Facebook page, para ma-answer nyo rin yung mga questions kasi ang dami pa, very, very insight. Mukhang mukhang interested yung mga viewers natin, very, very much. Last question, and this is from EJ De Lima. Sabi niya, naisip niya, just a random thought, sabi niya, what is your point? Ano kaya yung reaction po ninyo about recycling? Kasi nabasa natin na may mga ilan po na nagre-recycle ng mga plastic mask. Diba? Like incorporating it as an additive to hollow blocks, etc. Ano po yung thoughts? Any first speaker who wants to share their thoughts on this? Kasi nabasa ko nga rin may mga may mga gumagawa nga nito, diba? They're using the plastic, the disposable mask, diba? Parang ang ginagawa is ini-integrate, parang siguro sinusunog, diba? Or minamash together, or maybe kinakat, hindi natin alam kung anong ginagawa, but they're adding it as an additive to hollow blocks. What's your thoughts on this final question? Sir Mon.
Yeah, it has been answered previously. Na recycling should be the last resort. The way to live our life in a zero waste na kultura is to avoid making waste in the first place. So, kumbaga, yung binanggit kanina na ang plastic naman, even 50 years ago, ang buhay natin ay we go by without yung easily nakapackage ang lahat sa plastic, and we live a more sustainable and healthy living. Hindi naman late ang lahat para bumalik o maiangkop natin ang sarili. We suffer in the end. What with the climate change, now what with the pandemic, and yet we thought our lives are convenient. No. We are living in a very dangerous ground. We in fact is risking this earth, ano pa yung pamamamana natin sa mga susunod na henerasyon dahil lumalala ang climate crisis. And therefore, mask is a way to protect ourselves, but there is also a way of using mask that will be protective of our climate, protective of our soil, protective of our ocean, protective of our environment. So let us not separate ourselves from our own immediate environment, whether it's our home or ang ating kapitbahay o ang pagmabas tayo sa very public na places. And it is no excuse that anyway, okay lang, gumamit ako ng disposable surgical mask or medical mask kasi magiging part man yan ng something that will be recycled later. Mind you, only 10% of recyclable plastic waste is recycled in reality. 90% of it is absorbed by our environment. It becomes persistent pollutants, as mentioned by my colleague. So why take the easy route when there is an easier, more sustainable route? Easier and even economical for us. Make reusable, make use of the reusable. So it takes parang a sense of responsibility to keep it simple. Na yung what becomes convenient sa akala natin is really in the end very harmful to us and to the generation that will follow. So what is easier then? Take the sustainable way. Yun lang po.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Mon. No? Ganda nung final words mo doon. Salamat, Sir Mon. Ross, I know you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, to answer lang yung question siguro dun sa Facebook, commenter. Thank you for that question. Kasi I think those are questions na there, I think few months back, and I know it's coming from good intentions to recycle like, medical waste. And I honestly don't know the answer to that. At like, nabasa ko lang na parang we should not recycle yun, yung face mask because baka mag-transfer ng bacteria or something like that. And I'm saying this with, I'm telling you na hindi ako healthcare professional. I am Pol Sci Com Dev yung background ko. But for me, your question calls for something deeper. So it means that as we transition to a zero-waste society, we have to strengthen our capacity building to answer these questions. Kasi as I said, I don't have the answer to, I don't have the technical answer to your question, except for the things that I read also online na don't recycle it. And I know you're coming, and we are all coming from a place na, I want to also contribute. So a big part or a big chunk of us transitioning to and realizing this zero waste agenda natin or a society that we would want in the future is to really democratize pa the spaces that we will be educated of how to recycle, how to reduce in practical terms. Because as mentioned kanina, napakadami ng waste na yun. We can keep repeating, reduce, reuse, recycle, but if not done properly, it defeats the purpose. So yan siguro, like if there are also policymakers and leaders listening, like we need to put our policies into action and make sure na yung downstream knowledge sharing and capacity building is as strong as how we are passionate about this issue. So, yan lang.
Thank you so much for that, Ross. No? Ganda nung na-highlight ni Ross na point. Capacity building, very important. Yan. On that note, meron pala tayo ditong comment. Ito, I ended up with a comment from Grace Fasoy Frio of TESDA, a trainer. Sabi ko nga, capacity builder. So she's a TESDA trainer in organic agriculture production, NC2. Ayan, ang ganda, kompleto. Only biodegradable waste can be turned to organic fertilizer. So we must eliminate, if not reduce, plastic. So tama naman, di ba? Tama naman yung nabanggit ni Miss Grace. And that's good, no? Sabi nga, capacity building more information, knowledge, etc. And pwede nating partner si Ms. Grace moving forward. So thank you, Russ. Very nice, very strong insights. Of course, to all of our speakers, ang ganda ng discussion, JM. Gusto kong mag-Q&A na lang forever kasi ang daming tanong. Pero syempre nakakahiya naman kasi magsi-6 na. So,
7 na.
Correct.
So, magsa-7 na, Ames. Magsa-7 na.
Okay. Sige. So, what's our next step na? Ano na bang sunod sa atin, JM?
Actually, Ames, I just like to say as well, maraming salamat dun sa mga tanong na meron na nabigay nyo sa amin dun sa Facebook comments, and maraming salamat din sa ating mga speakers sa pagbibigay ng kanilang mga thoughts nila talaga, yung mga insights on this topic of zero waste. Yun nga lang, kasi malapit tayong 7, so we'll have to cut it short. And pero bago tayo umalis or matapos tong episode na to. Ames, naalala ko pala meron kang i-announce daw na pakulo. Ano yun?
Oo, hindi natin pwedeng makalimutan yan. You're very, very pleased to announce that we are launching our hashtag Klimatotohanan Challenge Series. Siyempre, para maging mas exciting ang bawat pagpanood nyo ng Klimatotohanan, meron po kami sa bawat episode ng Klimatotohanan, mag-a-announce po kami ng challenge para po sa inyo na related sa topic of discussion natin. So, for this episode, ang ating Klimatotohanan Challenge is, naku, drum roll please. Ayan, meron tayong drum roll. Sabi nga rito ang ating hashtag Klimatotohanan Challenge is, make a 30-second clip with the following elements po. Number 1, your declaration of your commitment to reduce your plastic dependence. And then starting tomorrow, pangalawa po, i-document nyo po kung paano nyo po uumpisahan ang inyong zero waste journey. At pangatlo po, kung kayo naman po ay nagpa-practice na ng zero waste, i-share nyo lang po ang inyong strategies sa amin. Yan. So nakita nyo, ang pagsali po, napakadali lang po. Remember to tag the Climate Reality Project Philippines on your stories or posts para makita po namin ang inyong entry. Make sure po na nakapublic po ang inyong accounts. And of course, number 2, i-message lang po ang The Climate Reality Project Philippines Facebook or Instagram account with your entry bilang final validation po. So, ang tatlo po ang aming pipiliing winners. Makakatanggap po kayo ng special prizes from us. 'Di ba? Yan po. Naku, excited ako rito, JM, kasi makakatanggap po sila ng grow kits para po sa mga plantita at plantito at syempre mga sustainable products ang ipamimigay. Kaya naman po, after nitong episode, sali na po kayo, mag-post na po kayo ng inyong mga entries, 'di ba, JM? Kaya sali kaya tayo, no? Kasi parang gusto ko rin manalo ng prize.
Ay, alam ko, pati ako gusto ko rin manalo, kaso kailangan muna nating alamin kung pwede ba tayo. Pero of course, dun sa mga viewers natin, hindi siya one entry, one person. Multiple entries per person yan. So you can send in as many entries as you can. Ayun. At, the more entries, the more chances of winning. So malay mo, di ba? Dahil sa mga commitments nyo, ma-inspire nyo yung mga followers nyo to start your zero waste journey. So abangan po namin yung mga entries, no? And dahil doon, I wish we had more time. And pero of course, this discussion, this fight continues offline. Patuloy ang laban ng ating mga environmental defenders sa lahat ng mga bagay, pati sa issue ng zero waste. So, bilang close natin sa ating episode, may huling tanong kami dun sa ating mga panel. What is your advice on our viewers to start their zero waste journey and inspiring their families and friends, mga kapamilya at mga kaibigan, to join yung idea at yung movement ng zero waste? So Coleen, baka gusto mong mag-start dito sa ating final question.
Yeah. I think yung ganitong space, yung having conversations like this, attending webinars like this is a great start. And of course, you have to also continue it. Like by joining communities that are promoting zero waste. So there's Buhay Zero Waste on Facebook. There's Zero Waste Philippines na mga Facebook groups. There are a lot. And we don't have to beat ourselves to it. Diba? May quote nga na, we don't need millions of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need baliktad. We don't need handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly. And we just don't have to do it as individuals. Hindi lang to dapat maging lifestyle, but we have to be advocate for it. We have to keep on calling our governments, our national and local government, and of course corporations to go zero waste.
Wow. Thank you, Coleen. Let's go with Marian. How about you?
Yeah, speaking from personal experience, siguro, I know we all started out not doing this or not being familiar with it. So I think I would do it na parang one step at a time, one day at a time, because zero waste really is a process. And as Russell said earlier, na, diba, there are accessibility issues. So I know like completely shifting your entire life to zero waste can get pretty costly. So don't be afraid to do baby steps na unti-unti na shift to reusables. And I think at the same time, importante na we have to remember that not everything is on us as individuals. We also have to hold other stakeholders accountable, specifically yung mga corporations and our governments, because they have roles to play in addressing our pollution problem. Hindi lang na lahat na responsibility is on consumers or the end users like us. Importante rin na we have to constantly keep reminding them of their roles too, and that kailangan, if we as individuals with limited resources can make the shift, yung entire systems of government and of businesses with their vast resources and also their capability, their R&D, they are able to do it themselves, and in a way also make it easier for all of us really to shift, kasi they'll answer things like accessibility or also affordability of zero waste.
Okay. Wow, thank you, Marian. And third naman ni Russ.
Yeah, the first step siguro is don't be overwhelmed by the zero waste word. It's just, a terminology that we came up with to communicate better. But basically what it is, it's just, your usual reduce, reuse, recycle, and many other ways that we can do it, because every day we can innovate different ways. And for me kasi, like, our relationship with plastics, our relationship with the economy, and of course the environment, it talks about relationships. So basically, diba, yung parang naging throwaway culture natin, it's easy kasi sobrang dami ng influx ng pwede nating ma-consume na goods. But take note na if you have scrapbooks there lying nung bata ka, you don't throw that away, right? Because you have a relationship with it, you have a connection with it. So treat also your things as that, diba? So I think that's one of the things that makes it easier to shift to a lifestyle that makes you value your things more, na hindi lang siya one time big time, parang hindi lang siya gamit tapon. So when you buy things, think of it as you're investing in a relationship. Is it gonna last, right? And there are many other ways to also do a zero waste lifestyle and to promote it. And going back to relationships, it's reconnecting. Kasi like, I really love right now, hindi perfect, pero yung parang repurposing and going into like slow cooking, which makes me reconnect ng lifestyle na when I was young, nung nasa Iloilo ako, diba? Na hindi lang puro busy and stress. I intentionally and mindfully put a day na sige, gigising ako ng 1 hour before my actual work because I want to sort like, all the trash, which I did as nung bata ako. And those things, diba? Nung bata tayo, were so amused in making new things out of scraps from our parents. I think that's also about reconnecting and, and having a relationship with the things that we have. And yun, so I think the call for zero waste society is a call for us to also go back, reconnect, and build relationships with things around us. And in a bigger sense, maganda yung sabi kanina ni Marian, may binanggit siya na gusto ko na parang, may mga gamit tayo na hindi natin kailangan pero kailangan ng iba na community, such as community gardens, diba? So that also calls for reconnection. Like, talk to your neighbors, if you have Facebook group, yun yung sabi kanina na ni Coleen na kung may Facebook groups, na yung trash ko, na hindi ko na talaga kaya i-hoard pa dito sa bahay, di ba? Kasi minsan nag-hoard ako mga ketchup, mga kung ano dyan na pwede magamit ko pa to in the future. Kung hindi na talaga, kasi sobrang dami na, the excess that you have, you can say, oh guys, for free or for barter, you don't have to throw it. Like that would be someone else's, my trash can be someone else's treasure. Right? Ganun. So yan siguro, reconnect with, things around you and build a relationship with them. That would be, I think, the first step to this shift that we are doing.
Okay. Yan. Ma'am Salamat, Raz, for your, yung sasagot ko. So, Ames, marami tayong nakuhang mga,
Insights.
yung mga insights at knowledge talaga dyan eh.
Oo, grabe.
Talagang
Sobrang,
galing
it's a very, very, very insightful session because the discussion is very practical. These are things that we can start doing tomorrow, di ba? Kung talagang meron tayong viewers na really struggling and want to start this movement. You have the community na nabanggit ni Coleen. There's communities in Facebook, sabi ni Marian. There are steps that you can do actively. Baby steps, di ba? Every day, try to do something differently. And then sabi nga ni Ross, establishing relationship. Ang ganda ng relationship and reconnect, di ba? So these are steps that you can do to really join in the movement, di ba? At alam ko, a lot of us are doing it already. Thank you so much for all of you supporting it. And a lot of us are really starting. So sana po, kung sino yung if you're an advocate already, then support your organization, support people in your teams, support your other people, your families, diba? Kasi it's a journey talaga. Kailangan mo ng support system, diba? Especially when it comes to this type of movement. So maraming salamat. I'm very, very overwhelmed. I'm very, very inspired sa mga speakers natin. I really hope that I'm very happy kasi we started the session with very, very powerful insights, very meaningful discussions. With, diba, Klimatotohanan, yan naman talaga yung branding natin. We want to have meaningful discussions. I hope mag-join pa po kayo kasi marami pa po kayong aabangan. Marami pa tayong pag-uusapan. So I hope that you're able, again, to reach more of our viewers to learn more about the importance of pursuing systemic and individual zero waste solutions. Diba? Kanya-kanya po yan. Diba? And I really want to thank all of our speakers on behalf, of course, the Climate Reality Project Philippines. We want to thank you for the inspiration, for the action, for all the things that you're doing. Diba? Hindi lang po yan para sa sarili ninyo. I know that you're doing it for our country, for our world. Maraming salamat. And syempre po, maraming salamat doon sa mga nanonood at umaabang po sa Klimatotohanan. Thank you so much. Ang dami nating viewers. We're very, very happy, very fortunate that you guys are with us this evening. This evening na ba? And marami pa po kayong aabangan this year. So hopefully don't forget to join our next episode. So please don't forget to join our community in all of our social media platforms. Follow the Climate Reality Project Philippines on Instagram at Climate Reality Project, at Climate Reality PH, and of course at Twitter at Climate Real PH. You can also visit the socials of our guest organizations and their handles po is flashed on the screen. Ayan, paalala lang po, syempre, diba? Doon po sa mga gustong makatanggap ng Certificate of Participation, please make sure to answer the feedback form. Nasa link po yan, nasa comment section po, so antayan nyo po. Again, we really want to thank, of course, Coleen. Maraming salamat, Marian, of course, to Russ and to Sir Ramon. Thank you so much for all of the insights this evening and afternoon. JM.
Thank you, everyone. So, to wrap us off, this has been Klimatotohanan, a webcast organized and led by climate reality leaders to tackle the urgent climate issues of today and tomorrow. Why Klimatotohanan? Because we need real talk and real action on the climate crisis. Muli, maraming salamat po at magandang gabi sa ating lahat.